podcast thingamajig. I am your host, well, one of your hosts. I am Matt. On our panel tonight, we have Daniel, Jake, and whoever the fuck he is, Lewis Cox.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. I thought we'd say our names as he's... Doesn't matter.
I did as well. That's fine.
It's fine.
Oh well.
So,
Okay.
I'm walking into this completely blind. What are we doing now, Jake?
We can talk about, I guess what prompted us to, start a new format for Sudrian Radio. Why don't we do that instead? Why don't we discuss, because there was Sudrian Radio before, and...
Sudrian Radio, the new format.
Yes.
It basically means it's shorter, it's sharper, and it's just gonna last longer. If we have different people rotating around.
I'm not sure what Dan's talking about right now, but...
Thanks, Lewis.
That's a good motto for life.
Yeah. Keep that in mind, folks, because I can't remember what I said myself. But no, it'll basically... This means that we can actually have new and different people every week to keep it fresh, as it were.
Yeah, less people...
every 2 weeks, because we can't be bothered to write a show.
Yes, because this is written.
Yeah.
Well, when I say written, I really mean Jake comes up with ideas, and then we just roll with them.
Well, less people talking over each other as well. I think that was a big problem in the last series.
Last time we tried it, it was everyone, and Sean was just going, I'm driving a train!
As he does.
Yes.
That's fine then.
But anyway, let's move on to the first topic, which I do quite possibly believe is the new episodes, because everyone loves the new episodes.
I think so, yeah.
Right.
I quite liked them.
So, new episodes. They were, and I had a list up, so I'll have to get that again. Gordon Runs Dry, the one where Gordon needed a piss but couldn't. Kevin's Cranky Friend, where they made a very bad pun out of a title. Scruff's Makeover, which sounded slightly homosexual, and I thought was going to have got Kwon as the guest star.
It was going to be fabulous, Dan.
Sorry! Well, you were going to be in it as well. Wayward Winston.
Very funny.
I know! Wayward Winston, which I can't think up a witty remark for, and Steamy Stafford, which is... well, Steamy Stafford.
Yeah, I've made a response to that. I sincerely think that while it's not where it could be just yet, but it's heading in the right direction. There's a noticeable change, and while they still have, they've gotten rid of jingling and jangling. That has made me very happy. But I still think there's always going to be room for improvement, but it's little things like Percy putting the coaches behind Gordon, Percy actually shunting the yard, or the use of signal flags when an engine has broken down on the main. It's small detail works that make the difference.
Yes, and just to add to those little detail works, it's the fact that for the first time in ages we see Edward. And he's at Edward's station.
Oh, yes.
And I saw that, I was like, it's Edward! It's that fucking Edward station!
It's amazing!
Hell. It's like, but it's little things like that, because it gives everyone a place and a purpose, and I like the fact that they've started to do that again. So, like, Winston, he has a job and a role. He carries the Fat Controller all around the island because he seems to have lost his little blue car. We've got Stafford, whose job is to carry sheep. Apparently, it was something like that.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's his job specifically, but
okay, then it's to do quiet jobs.
It's to be quiet engine, but yeah, puff 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 puff, chuff chuff,
yes,
chuff, woo woo.
A week of Jake doing that was not.
Yes, sorry about that. By the way,
Ty, get on it, remix it.
And yeah, I think it's little things like that. What did you like about it, Lewis?
Lewis has gone to put his dinner in, so maybe Matt would like.
Oh,
Maybe
I
you should be
timed
looking-
that really badly. I thought he was
Yeah.
being ridiculously quiet.
No, maybe you should look at the chat while we're doing this thing.
I'm sorry, I can only do one thing at a time. I'm incapable of multitasking.
I don't know. I like it when continuity actually ends up happening. I mean,
Okay.
Edward's station.
Meanwhile,
Or at, like, places of significance that they're known for. One thing I quite really liked was the return of brake vans.
to be fair, they've been
Yes.
introducing brake vans like in previous seasons. Just like it's become really prominent this season.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's a good reprieve from, I think, maybe series, I don't know. We'll
Series,
say
I don't know. We've
we'll
narrowed it
say
down
like we'll say like 10 to maybe 14 or 15, where there were just no vans, no
I
brake.
distinctly remember in Hero of the Rails the entire race scene between Thomas and Spencer. It was like, this could have been prevented with a goddamn brake van.
Yes, it could have, or two.
And as I was thinking, I love talking of chase scenes because you remind me, and people have been posting it on the stream and in various chats because they're watching this. They went running, CGI fat hat running.
Oh,
And I remember that was my one regret with Wayward Winston, that we didn't have more of that. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, the fat controller's just funny. Make the fat boy run.
Oh, Winston, stop!
Dan, before it came out, you said something along the lines of, you would just love to see the Fat Controller running all over the island.
I didn't quite get that, but he did tell Bertie to stop where he was.
That was quite good. Okay, I'll just stay here then.
So,
Yeah.
Lewis, what did you think about Series 17 now that you've returned from making your dinner?
Well, I was impressed, to be honest. When did I see the episode? I saw them last week. I saw the ones that have been leaked onto YouTube, and I was surprised, really. I had known that season 17 was going to be a massive improvement, but it still took me by, like, surprise sort of thing, because, like, there was always part of me that was sort of, like, pessimistic about it. Like, people said it was going to be an improvement, we still didn't think it probably would. But they pulled it out of the bag, credit to Hit. The stories weren't like anything amazing necessarily, but they had a nice little charm to them, sort of thing. And it's like, for once I didn't find myself sat there picking the episode apart, sort of thing, like working out everything that was wrong. I just sat and enjoyed it, and I was incredibly impressed. And the visuals are fantastic.
I was quite fond of the new music mix as well.
Yeah, there was a ditty in one of the episodes right at the start, and it sounded incredibly like sort of season 2, season 3-ish. It was incredible.
Well, and I like that they're trying new media as well, new medium, I should say. Like with Cranky's theme, for example, it's a bit techno-y and kind of it's got some interesting things going on in the background, but it's
it
refreshing.
diversifies it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought it was very good, very, very good.
And Gordon runs dry in the end bit where they're all like at Knapford. Spoilers.
Oh, who cares?
They're all at Knapford. You've spoiled it, Matt!
I can
in the end,
name
when they're
you.
all at Knapford, and all of the people are just kind of like gently taking the piss out of Gordon, and he just like pisses off. Why can't we have stuff like this that just flows all the time?
It's dialogue choices, exactly.
Yeah.
It's moments and.
I mean, this is the first time that I've. Oops, shit. My external monitor just nearly fell over.
Oh, that's good.
But it's the first time in a really long time I've seen the characters actually talk to each other. If you take my meaning.
Yeah, it's not.
Instead of having the narrator saying what happens,
Yeah.
characters talk, which is nice. I've missed that.
It varies it.
What do we think of the new narrator?
Oh, yes.
I quite like him. It's if you weren't aware that there was a change, you could be forgiven for mistaking it as still Angelus.
Yes.
The thing was, I was watching it and I thought that it was the UK narration, but as it turns out, they just have one narrator now.
Yes, they've unified it.
So, I thought they just gotten a new cast and it was just going to be a unified cast, but I'm quite glad that it's just the American cast because Americans have a crap Henry voice.
Yeah.
I didn't actually have a point there. I just wanted to throw in the fact that the Americans.
You just wanted to throw some hate out to the American version, didn't you? Dan?
Well, to be fair, yeah, I think we've been too positive about these new episodes.
The new narrator's name. The new narrator's name.
All crap, really. Is what Dan means.
Mark Morgan. That's the new.
No,
guy.
the US didn't get new voices. I just mistook it for like a unified cast because I don't
Dan
listen
just
to the
hated
US
it,
version.
to be honest.
I did. I thought it was all crap.
And then you cried at it, didn't you? And you cried.
Yeah, Mark Morgan.
You should have just listened to the UK version because it's the same damn voice.
One thing that relatively took me surprise about the episodes was, I guess the best example would be Steamy Stafford, where it's like, there's a gimmick.
Yeah.
There's a really big gimmick, and it's like, chuff, 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 puff, puff. Yeah, that.
Woo! Yeah.
And it's like, well, thinking back on it, they've done stuff like that before, but for some reason, this time it was enjoyable and entertaining, which is something I was really surprised at, because if it was 2 seasons ago, I'd probably...
And I could sort of see with that episode how it, like, I could see, like, a direct link to kids watching it, sort of thing, because it's the sort of thing kids do in the playground, don't they? They go around making train noises.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can all remember that time when we just walked around the playground going chuff, chuff, chuff.
It was yesterday, then.
Oh.
Dan. Why did I just call you Dan? Oh, dear.
Well, yeah, I think that's a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
Lewis Cox, ladies and gentlemen.
Lewis Cox? Lewis Cox? Oh,
That
God.
explains why people avoid me. Nah, no, they don't. I'm lying.
So,
You're the most popular kid in all of school.
based on the
Everyone bows
principles,
down to me.
the principles we've just discussed, with character development having such rapid succession and
actually, I'm going to disagree there. There wasn't character development.
Well,
they were using the characters, which was nice.
Okay, yes, but at any rate, with this
There's a
improvement,
difference.
with this improvement, then, do you think that they will be able to reintegrate Duck into the series effectively?
You mean Duck? It's Duck.
Duck. It's
you want
Duck.
me to talk about?
Yeah.
Well,
People are asking me what it's like, and it's Duck.
Well, I don't think, personally, that Duck's needed. He's just that character who you
you never have, Dan.
No, I never have. I've never seen the appeal behind Duck. He's just that kind of one who's there, and he's in the corner, and you give him dialogue, but he doesn't do anything of importance.
To be fair, he is completely overhyped by the fans.
It's only because of Duck and the Diesel Engine that anyone cares about Mr. Montague. And
that sounds kind of gay, Dan.
Well, it's his name! and I think he'd like people to use it once in a while.
Can we ask it?
Yes, we should.
We'll get him on the show next time, how's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get... Okay, then. But no, you could give any dialogue that you'd give to Duck to any other character. Anyone.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
Mm.
It's nothing special.
It's fine.
But I still think at the same time, getting more of the old characters instead of new ones that are going to appear for one episode, I welcome that wholeheartedly.
Well,
I like that.
I'm not entirely sure about that, because let me be completely honest with you for a minute. They don't seem to be doing one-off characters that you'll never see again anymore.
That's true as well. I was pleased to see that.
I imagine we will. I would imagine there probably is a couple of one-off characters still to come, sort of thing, from the new series. I wouldn't think they're completely phased out yet.
I mean,
'Cause it's
we've had
merchandise.
one of the characters have been there since Audrey.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And look at Bear.
Yeah, Pog,
Yeah.
Ginty.
You know, it's.
The
Well-
ballast spreader.
But I do like that there's some that in this new series they took those one-off characters like Scruff and Winston and they gave them things to do.
Yeah.
I think of the 5 that were made available in that DVD release, I think that the
Go
Scruff
ahead.
one was probably my least favourite. Just because of its story, for some reason. I feel like just running around saying, can I do your job, can I do your job? I think they could have done a bit better with that character. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's horribly interesting at the waste dump, but you know, they could have come up with something else.
It's the peak of excitement there.
I know.
Moving trucks of rubbish and moving trucks of rubbish back and moving them forward again. That's shunting in a nutshell, really.
But at the same time, Jake, even though they could have done so much better with it, I actually enjoyed it. So they're doing something right.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
the point
It's
where I'm not picking things apart.
right.
Yeah.
It's the question of, is this watchable? Did I have a fun time? Yeah, I did. It was good, which I honestly can't say for some of the more recent series.
Yeah. I think one thing that a lot of people need to get through their heads is it's never going to be exactly what you want it to be, because people want it to be, you know, back to the Audrey stuff and blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Back to Audrey, blah blah blah. that's all it narrows down to.
You
Don't
can't
get me
do
wrong,
it.
I love the Railway series, but if Audrey had his way, you'd be looking at an engine pull out of a station for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think they're doing good with what they got.
Yeah, it's such it's a noticeable improvement. It really is, just from what we've been getting versus now. What do we think of the new animation, the new studio?
I like their direction. I like the camera shots are much more dynamic and I'm about to say fancy because that's the only word I really use to sum up. But it is very.
It's a punchy beat, Dan.
Thank you. It moves much more, so there's more pace and it just feels more creative in a way. It's more dynamic. There we go.
I quite like that they're using a lot less sort of blur fade cuts. That it's a lot more direct snap cuts between locations, which I like. It keeps the pace faster.
I think the most noticeable change that I saw was the integration of a lighting system
Yeah.
in the models.
Oh, hello, Mr. Modeler.
Sorry, I do work in 3ds Max, but
Oh, okay. Don't throw your credentials around.
well, I am. But I don't know. Everything just looks more realistic. Isn't the word, but it all kind of fits in its own world.
It looks sharper.
Yeah.
Mm.
And at the same time, there's also focus and a field of view, which is really nice in the camera shots.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I like that occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally you'll get like those zooms, a quick zoom between each word. So like when Gordon's going online, he goes, "Kronk, the lake." Whoa! There's like a zoom each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's little things like that, just building up the tension a bit more. It's the little things.
It's the little things. Yeah, and I think capitalizing on that, not complete overhauls, but just small integrations of things that, just normal like railway things. Definitely, it creates a much higher sense of immersion that we haven't gotten in the recent series.
What I'd love to see the new animation team have a go at is those giant yards we used to get in like season 2, 3, and 4, and 5. The ones where you can sweep across and there are things moving around, and it's all.
Well, and in fairness, they have tried that with what they're calling the shunting yards, but it's not big by any means. They could make it bigger, I presume.
In one of the shots, in one of the shots that they had at Knapford, I was looking and it's like there's just a line that goes along the side. Oh, no, they could have done so much more with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's meant to be yards at Knapford, so
for being the big station, you know, it's
you would think.
Mm-hmm.
And there
was
a
not,
harbor behind it, so.
Yeah. It was nice at the beginning of, gosh, I don't remember what episode that was, but Thomas came around from Tidmouth Sheds on that sideline. He went down a track, and then he was at Knapford. So I think they're trying to rebuild the map as well and put some more continuity into where everything fits in.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, they must have just downloaded the iOS. Lewis, you should feel totally flattered, dude.
I am flattered. I'm always flattered.
I don't know what that accent was, Matt, but I'm sure it was your flattering voice.
It wasn't as good as the first one.
Ha!
You guys just...
No, we're not going to let it go. So...
You're the worst.
So, shut up, Matt. Goodness sake. Gonna get through the rest of the show now.
So
okay.
have we nailed season 17 in
Actually, I've got a question for everybody.
Okay.
In your opinions, what is your favorite episode out of what's been released thus far? And I'm sure in later shows we're going to have a chat when the next ones come out because season 17's far from over. But as of right now, what's your favorite episode out of what's out there now?
Dan, why don't you go?
Okay, then that's quite easy. Looking at the list, because I have it in front of me, it seems pretty obvious to me. With a ridiculous suspension and a fat man chasing after him, it's Wayward Winston. Because, let's face it, that was hilarious. Everyone loved that one.
Yeah.
Don't say you didn't, because if you didn't, you don't have a sense of fun.
And it's like, it's sort of seemed nostalgic in a way, because it sort of harked back to Busy Going Backwards.
Yeah.
Or even Old Iron, I kind of likened it to as well.
Thomas
which
comes
is
to breakfast.
But yes, before we go on the nostalgia trip, Jake, what was yours?
I'd have
and
to
also,
say,
what was your favourite episode?
Oh yeah, I'd have to say Gordon Runs Dry, just because I quite like Gordon as a character, and it was nice seeing him acting like that character again.
For Christ's sake, Jake, you're not Gordon.
I am Gordon. Stop. But yeah, I feel like it was just a big improvement, and it's nice seeing characters which behave a certain way, but haven't done for a very long time, behaving in that way again. And I felt very good about the way that they've done Gordon, and integrating new characters in as well, like Paxton, I think it was, who was coming down from the quarry. But yeah, I would say Gordon Runs Dry. Very good.
Who are you passing on? No, Matt. It's Jake's turn. Jake chooses who to pass on to.
Fine.
Oh, okay. Why don't we have... Oh, God, pressure. Lewis, go. Yeah.
I would have to agree with Jake. I would go with Gordon Runs Dry as well. Partly because it was the first one I saw, and it sort of just captured season 17 for me. It was like that. It made me more optimistic. But it was also, I really liked... The plot was... Well, obviously there was flaws in the plot, but... it was just charming in a way, like seeing, as Jake says, seeing Gordon act how he should. And then there was the visuals with the water on the rails, and I thought it was stunning. And then the humour with Paxton, like pushing Gordon, I thought that was quite amusing as well.
Oh, the breaks, yeah.
And even the bit at the end, just with all the endings taking into account Gordon, I thought that was incredibly good.
Mr. Matthew?
I have to agree with you guys. Gordon Runs Dry is kind of my favorite, and unlike Lewis, it was the last episode I had seen. And I don't know, I just... It wasn't like the previous seasons where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna carry on because even though I know something's wrong, he just didn't know.
Okay, so...
Yeah, for once an engine acts quite sensibly.
Yeah.
So someone in the chat has brought up the instance of the 3-strike rule. What do we think?
Hello, I've got my 3-strike rule rant ready.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And now, 3-strike rule with Dan.
Thank you to the Great Western Way for that.
I'm not going to talk very long on the 3-strike rule because personally I don't think there's much wrong with using that. It's a standard writing tool. I've used it several times in my own writing and episodes and nobody seems to have noticed or indeed cared. I used it in Tetley, which is an incredibly popular video of mine, and people never seem to notice it.
Plug.
But I did use it.
Plug.
Yeah, see, subtle references. I'm expecting a picture of a crazed T-Man as this comes up on the video. I don't think it's not the actual rule itself. I don't see that as a problem. It's how you use it. When you use it within a plot, like in the one with Scruff's makeover, I think that was the one. I found that quite endearing and charming because it's how you write, essentially. But when you use it as the plot in itself, that's when it doesn't work. And Tetley 3 strikes, Tetley causes trouble for 3 engines.
I didn't understand any of that, don't worry. Nor did I.
Don't worry, you can all see this later on!
Don't worry, there'll be a link in the description.
Way!
I'll do a
This
little
video's on
download.
YouTube.
I'll do a little downloadable recording of me ranting about the 3-strike rule that you too can use in your very own internet argument.
Then we'll write you a Word document tutorial on 3 strikes.
But yes, let's move on to
Oh shit.
Lewis,
hold on,
because
Yeah, let's
he's-
talk about...
let's talk about Lewis,
Yeah.
because
so
you're the guest of this week, apparently.
the
I
new,
think so, yeah. I think that's
new
why I'm
iOS.
here.
So we're going to ask you a few questions.
Okay,
The iOS, what is it?
that's not a question.
It's a statement followed by a question.
It's a collection of letters which are, is it an anagram or something? Not an anagram, an abbreviation.
Yes, there we go. Okay then.
It's an
And
acronym.
what is the Island of Sodor project as begun by SI3D? And
That's a
how
far
do you-
better question, Daniel. That is a route project to recreate basically the TV series and a bit of the railway series. Island of Sodor from 2010 in trains, basically. It's a project involving route, buildings, and rolling stock engines. My involvement is obviously I built the route and constantly pester Sean to make buildings.
Okay. And what does this is? I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I just thought I'd ask you questions now. This
Well-
I've literally got on my notes. Ask Lewis questions,
How very, very...
which is helpful
Fantastic.
in this.
So obviously the newest edition has, well, not just come out, but very recently come out.
Yeah,
In which you extended the Farquhar branch, which is Thomas's
Yep.
line, from I think it was Tory Rec to the Slate
yeah.
Quarry,
Quarry.
the Quarry.
and then the quarry, yeah.
So how did all that go? How long did that take you to make?
That took surprisingly long because personally I just got fed up with it, really. I just wanted to get it done, which sort of led to a lot of time of just procrastinating from it. But once
I
it
thought
started
you
to come
almost said something
together,
else, Lewis.
no, I didn't actually.
I-
Once we got like Farquhar start taking shape, it all started to come together. Once like the basics were down, I could sort of get a bit more done. But it's like I started by doing the quarry branch sort of thing, and initially it was working, but then and we got a bit done. But then I sort of just got bored of it, so no, I didn't, Sean.
By the way, Sean just said spending too much time on his hair, which is a question that we've got to ask later on. We'll bring that up at some point.
But yeah,
Oh, go on.
basically, there was a point where like the route just seemed massive. I honestly didn't know how I was going to fit it all. And I just put a load of trees in it, and then suddenly I could see where I was going with it. And that was sort of the moment when the route started to come together.
Just to say, there's a very bad pun where I could have said you couldn't see the route for the trees, but it doesn't work because you could see the route because of the trees. So I'm blaming you for my lack of punnage.
Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan.
Yeah.
How low you've fallen.
Yeah, it took in like comparison to the CrossFit extension, it must have been like twice as long to make. But then also like it was a lot longer than the CrossFit extension. There was a lot more in it.
So for those who maybe don't know, which I guess is myself included because
I would argue
fell out for a while.
Yeah.
How have you split up? You mentioned the Crosby extension. What sections have been released at a time?
I only came in to the project on the Toy Wreck extension, just before the end of that. But I think I would just about get the order of this right. They started by releasing the Knapford area. Then there was the Henry's Tunnel section. Then I think they had Tidner, followed by the Farmer McCall little branch line bit. Then it was to Wellsbridge. That was quite a large section. And then I joined in for the Toy Wreck section, and then after that I did the Crosby extension, and then after that I finished off the Farquhar branch.
Mm-hmm.
Just to argue with Sean's point, Sean said it helps when you're pretty much told exactly what to build. He tells me where to build the main locations, but all the filler, generally, that's me. And that's the hard fillers. It's easy, mate.
Rolling hills.
It's like hard being
It's
creative.
so easy, Lewis.
No, it's not. You have to be creative.
You have indeed. So, obviously, these routes are filled with lots of scenes from Thomas and Friends, but between that, there's a lot of filler and spaces where you kind of get to do your own thing. What inspires you to do what you do between the scenes? Do you look at real things, or
do you take the actor's viewpoints and become the route?
Yeah.
Yes. I immerse myself in the roof. Not roof. I don't literally just become a roof.
Nor do you actually become a route.
True. It's sometimes I will. No, it's not, Sean. No, it's not.
It totally
I'm
is.
part of it.
As
I
Sean
do-
says, it's glorified join the dots, don't give him too much credit.
Sorry.
So is it the lines that cause the most
Okay.
trouble for you, Lewis,
I
essentially?
came up with the map for Far 3, so technically I joined my own dots. What did you ask, Dan?
So essentially, Sean gives you the dots, or helps you when you discuss
Bill,
the dots, and
before
the
we-
hardest bit is the lines between them.
Yeah. Before
Oh,
we
yes.
start creating, we'll decide on what dots to include. And it's like easy to do the dots, it's just coming up with the crap around it. But, back to inspiration, yeah. Sometimes if there's something like I know in particular, like what I want to capture, I'll like Google a certain area of like Britain that I like to, grab and use, that sort of area. But a lot of my inspiration just comes from where I live, because I live in a lot of countryside sort of thing. I just generally, when I do a lot of like, I'm walking anywhere or just like on a car journey or something, I just pay a lot of attention to like the landscape. It just gives me ideas. I'm constantly looking sort of thing, and I'm constantly my own little sort of thing. Sean's probably right, yeah, it is making it up as you go along.
Okay.
Well,
But it just basically means I'm a very good improviser.
Oh yes, so people are clamoring, or at least Aaron, our little friend, is clamoring about Easter eggs and sort of in-jokes that you've laid all about the newest extension as well. And I suppose you updated a considerable bit of the rest of the route, not only the Farquhar branch, but some updates for some other things. Do you maybe want to talk about that? What's been changed, and maybe hint at some secret spots or funny things that you've
Easter
included?
eggs, Sean, shut up. Yeah, but yeah, I'll be completely honest with the Easter eggs. A lot of them are mainly Sean's ideas. He just goes, I was thinking we could do this, put it in the route, basically. And I take the credit for it, even though they're Sean's ideas.
I see. Is that why there was a massive penis?
Yeah, that was Sean's idea.
Oh, okay. Just so we're clear on that.
Yeah.
Steady on, kids. This is a family-friendly chat.
Oh, it isn't though.
Happens in a live stream stays in a live stream.
Apart from when it goes up on
It's
the
things
YouTube,
like-
dear Matthew.
It's things like, the Trust Thomas thing with the ferry, that was Sean's idea.
There was the on the Crosby extension there was the
On
cow
section,
field.
yeah, we had the workmen fixing the cow fence as if the fence had just been repaired from James's accident. No, you won't, Sean. You will not make that billboard. Then there was a small, like, a very small, with a couple of workmen at the little farm from Thomas Get Bumped. I had them there, so they were just finishing up. This was an idea of my own, actually, for a change. They were just finishing up working on the track as if they just mended it, so we like to include little hints towards, like, the episodes, because it just sort of immerses you a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's noticeable too. Like when you're passing that field and seeing the workmen there, it's nice. And yeah, like you say, it's just creating that sense of immersion. You kind of get lost in the route, which is, I think, what you're absolutely trying to achieve. So now, I guess maybe the future as well. We can
actually,
speculate.
I'm
okay.
going to say something. Lewis,
No, you're not, Matt.
Oh, shut up. Lewis, in, like, a lot of your newer iOS work, like, with a lot of the towns and such, and a lot of the everything, there's a lot of, like, people and actual population and really good route work, route, whatever.
Root. You were right first time. Well done.
Was I? Okay. And everything just kind of looks... Realistic would be the wrong word, but you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Like...
And looking back at your older stuff, like your old railway...
crap.
I wouldn't say it's... Well, I will
It is.
say every day that it's crap, but it's not properly
It's
shiny.
awful.
I mean, there's no...
It's awful.
Well, when Tidmouth has...
It is awful.
When Tidmouth has a population of 0, but...
Exactly.
And no cars.
It's awful. There are some cars, actually.
Yeah, I deleted those.
You're in love.
I
Stop
changed them
complaining.
out. I changed them out for good cars that Ben made. And Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Ben wouldn't finish them.
Oh. That's not the first time
Look at the satire.
But
Oh. Ben just couldn't finish them.
do you guys see that? It's on the video, not on the live stream. It's blinking Ben learn valve gear right now. Yeah. That's gonna be on the video.
Ben
You did-
just... Oh.
Captain
Aaron,
Subtle
you made
strikes
cars.
again.
Anyway, because Doctor Who starts in a few minutes, we'll wrap this up quickly because, like hell, I'm missing it because I'll walk out and Lewis will walk out and there'll be nothing but Matt and Ben. Ben?
Speed it up.
Jake.
Dave.
So, the future...
Thanks.
Not just me who's
No, it's
calling
fine.
people Ben, it's fine.
So, Lewis, the future of iOS.
The
Where are
Island
you
of Sodor.
going next? Yes.
We're going Wellsworth next. I've already started. I did a stream last weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
Sean needs to fix the turntable first.
I was about to bring that
Needs
up.
to make the square bigger.
Okay.
I'm going to claim I'm not going to do any work until he's fixed it. But yeah, we're going to do Wellsworth. From there, I think we're going to do a bit more of the main line to go to Marin, because we've done like all Thomas's branch now. So we just want to like give people more of a run on the main line sort of thing, because we've got a lot of the main line engines made. Then possibly a bit of Edwards branch, and then we can see what we want to do from next. We can always go back to the Little Western at some point as well.
Now, I've got a question, Lewis, because I've turned into George. The next extension, is it only going to be Wellsworth, or is it going to go, like...
It's only going to be to Weld or sort of thing. We
Okay.
want to do like...
So it's not going to Marin, because that's far away over Gordon's Hill.
Yeah, the planet we discussed this. We could have done Wellsworth and Marin, but we thought we'll just go to like the junction to Edwards branch line, and then if we wanted to like do Marin afterwards, we can just have it as a really quick release afterwards because it won't take that long to do, and then we can just claim we've made more. Really, it look like
Okay.
we're doing more than what we're doing.
Okay. So, because I think that sums up everything that we need to talk about.
God.
My microphone just fell off the table. Don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine.
Get a little
I
excited.
am organised. Let's go on to the questions that were asked on YouTube.
Okay.
Were there any questions on the forums, Jay?
I
There was
don't
a-
know
I
that, but I
remember
don't think
one
we
No.
have time.
I remember one question from YouTube. It was from a user called Sudrian after. He asked, is Matt Shearer gay? I think we should answer that.
Do we all answer that? I think we should. Okay,
I
then.
think-
Lewis, what's your opinion on this?
I think he might be, halfway there. I think
Okay.
he
Since
is.
the homophobe.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
why I
then.
don't like you. Oh.
Okay, then. Jake, your opinion.
I can't really say. He seems like a nice guy, and that's just about all I really care about. But yes.
Okay, then. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Matt, your opinion.
What the fuck do you mean, my opinion?
Okay, then, fine. We'll just have to go with what everyone else thinks. And yes is the answer to the question, in my viewpoint. Okay, question one.
I'd like to give a shout out to Ty for planting the seeds of destruction.
Shh. What
He's
do
a
you
good
think about the
man, that
realism of
Tyrone.
Season 17? That's one of the questions. Realism of Season 17, Lewis.
Well, it's still not particularly real yet, but it's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Jake.
But it's Thomas. Like,
Yeah, it's making
it's allowed.
definite improvements, but nowhere near where it could be.
Matt.
I wouldn't particularly call it real, but everything seems to fit in its own world, which works for me.
And I agree with that. Why is so many of the engines not able to use on Trainz 12? Lewis.
Cocaine, that's why.
Okay, then. We'll move on to the next one. What do you think has made the biggest difference to Season 17? Lewis.
We did this, didn't we?
The number.
Okay,
Number
then.
change.
Okay, the number's the
Last
biggest
season was
difference.
60.
Yes.
This
Okay,
next
then.
one's 17.
Jake, biggest difference.
Andrew Brenner. Yeah.
Matt, biggest difference.
Yeah, Andrew Brenner.
For me, biggest difference, I'm not going to talk about the people, I'm going to talk about what makes up the show, and that is the writing. The writing and the fact that they're using the characters well. Okay, next question. What do you think about the characters What do you think about how the characters' personalities are portrayed in the new season 17 episodes? Lewis, because there's an order to this.
They're better than what they were. Like, with Gordon runs dry, Gordon was almost spot on, sort of thing. So they're getting there.
Okay, Jake.
Yeah, I entirely agree with Lewis. I have nothing to add.
Matt.
I can't remember the question, so I'm going to agree with them.
Okay, then I think the characters' personalities are portrayed better and more obviously, which is nice to see. It's not just a cut and paste plot. Everyone has a role and a job, which is what I've said at the start. What is your opinion on the recent state of the community? I'm going to answer this by saying, look at the earlier
It's
rants.
not a community, it's a fandom.
Yes, we're not close enough as a community.
Yeah. Community implies togetherness and cooperation. There's a series of people who do that, and then there's everybody else who bitches on the forums.
This is why we're trying to kickstart it with the Creative Hub. But
Yes.
Indeed.
That's for another...
That's for another day when Lewis has reviewed Roots.
Yes.
Do you think... this is an interesting question. Do you think the train consists are shorter?
I'm sorry?
Dunno.
Do you think the train consists are shorter?
Oh, this is actually a really technical question that I only realized what it was about.
I'm gonna go for Lewis because I've got my order now.
Well, no and yes. Because, like, some of the goods trains are shorter than what they were. No, actually,
Okay.
I'll take that back. So, they're not shorter. They're the same as, like, some of the goods trains were. Like, goods trains are about the same size as they would be in the TV series. But, like, the Express often has more coaches on it, sort of thing, in the CGI series than it did in TV series. So,
Okay, then.
Anything
We're gonna
wrong?
have to keep our answers shorter now because Doctor Who started.
Okay.
So, what do you think train consists are shorter, Jake? Go.
I do, yes and no. I agree that the Express is longer, and some other trains are longer, but I
Okay,
feel
then,
like...
Matt, your opinion.
Okay.
Are train consists shorter?
Yes and no. They can
That'll
do
do.
both.
Are you happy that characters like Winston and Stafford are making appearances again and not just one-off characters? Lewis, go.
I like Stafford's accent, so yes.
Okay then, Jake, go.
I am.
Matt, go.
Yes, because they're using the character effectively.
I'm happy because they actually have character. That's just nice to see. Which one of the Railway series character would you like to see in CGI? And in brackets, excludes Bear.
I don't know why.
Someone just doesn't like Bear.
Doesn't like Bear, I guess.
I don't like bears. I don't want bears in the CGI.
With their brown fuzzy hair.
Brown fuzzy arm.
So, Lewis, your opinion?
Oh, Wilbur would be quite interesting.
Okay. Jake.
One illustration from one story, the Ballast Spreader. I think that character has a lot of potential.
Okay. Matt.
The one-off Patriot class from Gordon Goes Foreign.
From Groden Goes Foreign.
Gordon.
Myself? Oh, Christ. I don't know. I think I might agree with Wilbur, actually, because we'll do Green Arrow, because I'd quite like to see them attempt something on the scale of Thomas and the Great Railway Show. That would
be interesting.
Okay. So, what character from any series of Thomas would you consider the most overrated and why? Safe for underrated. Here we go. Lewis, go. Overrated
Stu
character.
from Bob the Builder.
Okay then. Why?
He's not a train.
Okay then. Okay then. Which character from any series of Tom? Did I say? Which
Yes,
character?
you did.
Tom? Oh, that's why. Okay. Can we swap that for Thomas? Because apparently I'm just an idiot.
No, I don't know. The most overrated, possibly Duck or Thomas, one or the other.
Okay then. And underrated?
Underrated, possibly the pairings of Henry and James, because they've got so much potential, the two of them.
Okay. Okay. I was really can't. Okay.
Okay.
Jake, overrated.
I'd say Thomas, just because he's in every episode now, and that shouldn't be.
Just can't get away from his big, fat, scary face.
I know.
And Ben
Underrated.
starts making Blender versions, and I just started crying.
Who's the most underrated?
The most underrated character, I would probably say. I think Toby. Now they've kind of boxed Toby into a very bad corner, and they need to bring him back up.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even consider Toby. Wow.
Okay then, Matt.
Sometimes he
Overrated.
flies.
I think the most overrated is Duck.
Okay then, underrated.
Edward, by far.
So is Toby.
Okay then. Well, I'm going to go with the most overrated. I don't know. Duck. Because, well, he is. Overrated. The most underrated, probably Edward or Bill and Ben. Because Bill and Ben, everyone loves Bill and Ben, but nobody wants to see him back.
Well, you
This-
hit the nail on the head.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think you have
Okay
to.
then. Lewis, what is the best trains model and route you guys ever made?
Well, the route has to be the iOS, because I made
Okay.
it. Well, no, simply because it is the best route we've ever made, because it's the one we're still making, it's the most recent one. So,
Okay.
by that logic, it has to be the best. Best trains model? Sean will kill me if I start getting picky with this. All of them, I like all of them. All the 2010, it's fantastic.
All the trains models you've ever made.
All the
You-
ones...
You've ever made. You like all of them.
me?
Yes,
I like all
you.
the ones-
Not
I
out
like
of the
all
world.
I like all the ones Sean's made.
But what about the ones that you've made?
Yeah.
I like my old coaches.
You like your old coaches. Okay. Jake, what's the best
if I've
trains
got to make a
model?
choice, you've probably done all of the whistle Percy.
Sorry, what was that, Lewis?
If I have to make a choice, like Sean's saying, it would be Donald Douglas or Percy.
Donald or Douglas or okay.
Cheaper.
Okay then. Jake, what's the best trains model you've ever made?
Well, I can't say that I do any trains modelling, but
And
the best route that I've ever created is probably a current project I'm working on right now, which is a railway series style Tidmouth, which is going quite well.
And Matt, I'm going to ask you what's the best model you've ever made, bearing in mind it's got to have been exported into trains.
Ooh,
I've
tough.
actually managed to get a goods wagon in Trainz, and I think it looks fantastic.
Okay, then, so that's your best ever model. And what's your best route?
Ooh, that's actually a tough one. I'd have to say my old Railway Series Tidmouth that looks like shite.
Okay, and given that I've never made routes or modelled
You can talk about real-life modelling, though, Dan.
real-life modelling,
Yeah.
Peter Sam, Gorda Sam, who you can
God.
see with his face perfectly proportioned on the video right now. And the best route, definitely the river, because I'll give Matt a picture, and I like that, the modelways. Okay then, last question before I can run away and watch Doctor Who and this stream ends and dies. How would you guys handle the current Thomas series? Oh god, that's not that's not a short question. Lewis, how would you handle Thomas now?
That's a very awkward question. I'm not sure that's appropriate.
Oh.
How-
How would you handle Thomas?
I wouldn't. Simply, I would steer clear.
What are you doing?
What
What do you mean, what am I doing?
That's what I thought.
I would end it. I would kill it. I'd do a final episode just with me shot in the face.
Alright, because everybody wants the show to end, so we...
No, Matt, we've got the last question.
What is it?
Shut up, we're doing it now.
I'll explode.
And we're also answering this question. Jake, how would you handle Thomas?
I can't say that that's a great question, honestly, because right now there's just with Series 17 there's a progression sort of movement in motion right now, and I wouldn't want to say that I would do anything different, I guess, right now, because I think that Brenner and his team are trying to dig their way out of this hole that has been dug for them in the last couple of series, and I think whatever job they're going to do in the future is going to be the best job that they can do. And I would probably do much of the same of what they're trying to do. Little details, better music, that sort of thing. More railway sorts of stuff.
And Matt,
I don't think I'd do anything differently, particularly. With everything that they've got going, and not only that, the restrictions that they have, considering all the, the stuff, corporate screening and all that. I think they're doing a pretty good job. I wouldn't do anything different.
okay then, I suppose I'm the last person to answer this. I'd keep it as it is now, but I'd vary up the genres occasionally. So that we have the occasional story like Ghost Train, or the odd dramatic story like Escape or Ghost Train, something a bit out of the blue that we don't often see very often, because I don't...
Not just
engine
engine goes
has
to X and pulls Y train, yeah.
Just because I think that it'd be nice to vary it up. That's how I'd do it. That's Sudrian Radio, labels and jelly spoons.
Alright.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you
I'm going, bye.
2 weeks. All right. Any last thoughts? I guess, Lewis or Matt?
Well, I'm gonna...
Doctor Who's on.
Oh, okay. Yes.
All right.
That's the last four.
Dan, Lewis, you can leave. Me and Jake will wrap up.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's fine. Goodbye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for whatever the hell Artsoft and Hit Entertainment are going to throw at us, because that's going to be amazing. And tune in next... Well...
2 weeks. 2 weeks' time.
Tune in 2 weeks' time to watch the next show. This will be up on YouTube at Monday, and there will also be a MP3 download link
That'll
in the
be...
description, so you can watch us on the go.
That'll
Thanks
be
again, everybody, and we'll catch you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.